Hi everyone. In this video, we're going to discuss section 1.3, linear functions. We're going to look at a couple of definitions and then go over problem number 6 and number 7. We've talked a lot about the slope-intercept form of a line. Now let's talk a little bit about the point-slope form of a line. Do you remember the equation we use for the slope? The slope, it's the rise over the run, change in y over x. Now, what if I wanted to manipulate this equation and move the x to the other side? What could I do? Notice you can just multiply the whole thing by x2 minus x1. When I multiply both sides, that looks a little weird to have the m to the right, so let's just move that in front. This divides to 1, and what do you get? Da-da-da-da-da! The point slope form of a line. So now I have y2 minus y1 equals m times x2 minus x1. Now I don't want to put x2 and y2. I'm just going to plug in 1 point, not 2 points. So I change this to say y and x, and I just subtract y1 and x1. Isn't that cool? So the point slope form comes from the slope formula. Notice the point slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. You plug in any point on the line and the slope, and then you can find the equation of the line. Notice here the slope would be what's next to the x. So the slope would be 2/3, and the y-intercept would be always 0 for the x, and then -7. What about over here? The slope would be -2, and the point on the line. Now be careful with the point because the value is minus x1 and minus y1. So the template says minus. So y minus 9 and x minus a -6. So x would be -6 and y would be 9. Just take the opposite of what you see. Okay? I see it -9, so the opposite is 9. I see +6, so the opposite, -6. Notice that template. You're subtracting. All right. Let's look at graphing a line in the y-intercept form. Remember, the y-intercept is b, mx plus b, where you begin. So you begin on the y-intercept. And the slope m is how you move, up or down, and then move to the right or left. Okay. Notice -3/5. We could think about beginning at 2, then going down 3/5, down 3/5. But couldn't we also think about the slope? So -3/5. That's the same as -3/5. Or we could think about 3/5. So we could rise 3 and go to the left 5. Either one of those will connect you to the next point on the line, and they're both fine to use. Let's try it. Where do I begin? At 3. Where do I begin here? At -1. How do I move in my first graph? So down 2 to the right 3, or you could go up 2 to the left 3. Notice that's forming a line. What about this move or slope? Up 1 to the right 2. You could also make both of them backwards. So a negative over a negative is positive. The slope could be 1/2, or it could be -1 over -2. So down 1 to the left 2. Notice that's still forming your line. And then you just connect the dots, and there's the graph of your line. Awesome. Let's look at practice problem 6 and 7. Find the equation of the line with the slope is 3 passing through the point -3, 5. So I know that y equals mx plus b. My slope is -3. So slope-intercept form, y equals -3x plus b. Notice they give you two pieces. Anytime you're asked to write the equation of a line, start with the slope. Start with the slope. The slope is -3, so I plug in -3. Then they give you a point on the line, and this point helps you to solve for b. Remember, this is x, y. So I plug in the x value and the y value, and I can use that information to solve for b. So I see that 5 equals -3 times -3 plus b. -3 times -3 is 9, and then I subtract, so 5 minus 9, so b equals -4. Can I write the equation of the line? You bet. Y equals mx plus b. Remember the b was -4, so I don't need to put plus a minus. You just put plus. You don't need to put plus a -4. You can just say -3x minus 4. Awesome. Let's do number 7. Find the slope-intercept form of a line that passes through the point this and has a slope of this. What do? Y equals mx plus b. Anytime I'm asked to write the equation of a line, I start with the slope. I start with the slope of 5. So I plug that in. Y equals 5x plus b. Now, how do I find b? That's why they gave me a point, another ordered pair to plug in for x and y. And then I only have b left. I can solve for it. So I'm going to plug in -7 for x and 6 for y and solve for b. So 6 equals 5 times -7 plus b. So -35, and then I add that 35 to get b equals 41. Now, write the equation of your line. Y equals mx plus b. Slope-intercept form and point-slope form. Have fun with it. We'll see you again.